Welcome to Horizons of Thought. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos. After managed isolation and quarantine, I got very busy with a lot of work that needed to be done, some of it actually involving research into improving managed isolation and quarantine. And I was, in fact, way too busy to try to do a Horizons of Thought video. But now I'm finally back to them, and today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of competence in artistic endeavors and what it does to protect you from the society that we're living in today, and why we actually, at the same time, need to find a way to make space for people who are newer and less competent at art. All you've got to do is look at the comment sections of any television show, any movie, any music, any artistic endeavor of any kind that's gotten reasonably popular or has had a lot of impact on people, and you will see the most appalling and abusive criticism that shows up about that particular piece of art, either in comment sections or in other videos, you name it. If an actor gains a little bit of a weight, she'll get abuse. If they show a wrinkle or two, they'll get abuse. If they do something that's of poor quality or something that irritates people politically, they'll get abuse. Sometimes they can get canceled just for a single tweet, and that's where a group of people get together and actually try to make sure that a person's career is harmed or ended because they were offended by what they saw, or because that person actually did something really genuinely awful, because both those things can be hard to separate apart unless you know the details of an individual. But one thing I've seen lately is, because we live in this hypercritical world, a lot of movie studios and a lot of people making products for our consumption are using that to their advantage. They'll go and they'll make a movie that's quite poor quality. It's either got poor writing, or it's got poor visuals, or it's just not adhering to any of the known concepts we have of storytelling, so that it's just not particularly interesting to listen to. And they will sit there and try to make a controversy out of that movie, a fake controversy out of that movie, in order to get people who might be opposed to the politics, or opposed to the stylistic choices, or opposed to the actors, or you name it, whatever they're opposed to, get those people all riled up so they'll make a lot of noise. Because one of the things that's absolutely true when it comes to publicizing anything in the artistic or creative realm is that there's actually no such thing as bad publicity. Publicity just gets more eyeballs on the topic, and it gives you a better chance of getting a lot more people to watch your movie or your show or whatever. So on the one hand, if you see something that looks like it's going to be controversial, be a little weary. A lot of times the creators are actually, their producers are in the background manipulating things so something looks more controversial than it is, in the hopes that you'll think the actual piece of art in question is interesting. You'll go, you'll watch, and you'll be like, you'll just be bored out of your mind. So that's one thing to watch out for in controversy. The other thing that I can honestly say is, when something is done really well, when the storytelling is really excellent, when the acting is absolutely magnificent, when the story arcs make sense and the character development is really good and the plot is really interesting, people who would normally be at each other's throats for various political or social reasons will find themselves shocked that this particular piece of art is making a point that the other side would normally make, and they're like, oh, but I like it when it's in this form. It's really interesting. It's making me think. It's making me wonder. And that's because there's this base underlying impulse in all people when they see stuff that's excellently done to stop and enjoy what they're seeing, and then take a moment to reflect on the content of the work. One of the examples I will give that's incredible today is a television show called The Expanse. It's had 5 seasons now. This show is unbelievably well done. The plots are excellent. The world creation is magnificent. The science fiction is so well done because it's based as much on real physical reality as they could possibly do this show. It's incredible on so many angles. And so you'll find a person who's obsessed with everybody getting the details of science fiction right, because they're not so into science fantasy. They actually want it to be hard science fiction. And they'll love this show. And then they'll stop and go, oh, I really like the fact that they're doing diversity in a really interesting way. They're doing politics in a really interesting way. And sometimes these will be the same people who would normally criticize what they're seeing in this show. Why is that the case? Because it matters that you make the scenarios in your movies feel real to people. It matters that you speak to people's real conditions and where they are. It matters that you do it well and with excellence, because this is one of the key ways that you can make people really think about what it is they believe and really interact with people of different points of view. It doesn't matter whether you're a liberal who claims that you believe in freedom of expression, but also maybe are a little more centered on the individual than on group interaction and don't understand why people would care about group interaction. It doesn't matter if you're more into critical theory and you're spending a lot of your time analyzing power structures, but doing it in a caricatured kind of way, which is quite common. You will see a show that's well done that is analyzing power structure in a non-caricatured way and think, maybe I don't really understand how this political force works. Maybe I should pay attention to this show and see what the writers have to say, because they might have better arguments than I do. When people do things like this, when people see excellent work, they are more likely to come together and agree with each other, even when they still disagree on principles, because they agree on the unbelievable brilliance of that piece. And so I will say that it's really important to remember this in art and build the people around you in the same fashion. If you make the people around you, both the ones you agree with and the ones you disagree with, more competent by helping them, by studying with them, by arguing in a civil manner with them, by sharing great work with them, by walking through how you make better work. And if you let them do the same for you, you can make yourself more competent and you can help make other people more competent. And that will improve people's ability to talk to and understand each other, even across some of the great political divides, even across the great divides of theory, of mind, of politics, of how we deal with power structure, of conflict resolution that exist and dominate in our society today. It is the case that excellence will have an effect on people's minds, even if their ideology tells them to oppose that excellence. That's why you want to support really great shows like The Expanse, really great art, really great music that speaks across divides, because this kind of activity helps bring about peace and bring about unity and bring about understanding. With that, this has been Horizons of Thought. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. If you liked this video, please click like. If you dislike this video, click dislike and tell me why. If you want to support this channel, subscribe or go down to the donor box and you can contribute a one-time amount or an amount per month to the continued operation of this channel. I hope you have a great day.